It's just evil spirits. Chill out.
Okay, well, I guess we don't need introductions. Evan has now had a crash course in Mathew.
Say hello.
I'm like, holy shit, dude! You shouldn't be doing like audio podcasts. You should be on television.
Isn't that the goal?
That is kind of the goal. That is actually, yeah, that's what I do.
There you go. There you
Fantastic.
go.
Well, I have a short intro for Evan that I pulled from IMDb, so Mathew, you can learn about his...
Oh, God, no. Oh, no.
He's running away.
Okay, well, I'm going to launch right into this. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Evan, you stable? No?
Yeah, I'm back.
Are you stable? That's questionable. But
Stable? Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm definitely here.
Okay.
if he's an actor, he's not fucking stable. I can tell you that.
Thank you. Yes, he understands.
Well, his income's not stable. I only need his mental state.
All right.
I'm not friends with anyone who's stable, so it checks out.
There we go. I checked the box.
Okay, we are recording. So welcome to another Halloween episode of the Too Old or Pure Gold Movie Podcast. And this year we're all in on Halloween doing scary movies for the entire month of October. In today's episode, we're doing our first ever double feature because it had to be done that way. We're discussing the 1981 cult horror film Evil Dead and the 1987 horror comedy Evil Dead 2. We'll talk more about it when we get there, but these movies naturally go together because, in Sam Raimi's words, Evil Dead 2 is a retelling and continuation of Evil Dead. The format of our podcast: do Gen Xers rewatch beloved movies from our youth to find out are they really as good as we remember? To help us debate and ultimately pass judgment, we ask our millennial or Gen Z co-hosts to watch these movies for the first time and help us determine are they too old or pure gold. I'm your host, Olen Vanderleeden, representing Gen X. Joining me today is my Gen X co-host, Mathew Stockton.
When am I going to be the host and you're the co-host?
You have been the host.
I'm just kidding.
We could do it today. I am your co-host, Olen Vanderleeden, and joining me today is my host, Mathew.
Hi.
And I had the question ready for you, but you answered it in the last pod, Mathew. Are you a fan of the horror genre?
I am definitely a fan of the horror genre. It's my guilty pleasure.
The biggest horror fan I know other than me.
For today's episode, we're skipping the millennials. They can't help us here, so we're consulting Gen Z. So we have regular co-host Nicole with us. Hello, Nicole.
Woo!
And on the show today, for the first time, our first Gen Z co-host to have his own IMDb page, Evan.
Hey. Oh, I get co-host. That's good. All right, I'll take that.
You get co-host. And to quote IMDb, Evan Malick is a Canadian-born actor, writer, and independent short producer. And I have to say, Evan, I know you. I don't find you short at all.
Oh, thank you. It's a confusion. I'm trying to get it switched.
I think you're quite tall.
Thank you, Olen.
Before we get started, just a reminder that we need your support to grow this podcast, so please remember to like, follow, and subscribe. Today's movies are Evil Dead from 1981 and the retelling and continuation Evil Dead 2 from 1987. The movies star the amazing Bruce Campbell in the role that really got his career started. The movie was created, written, and directed by Sam Raimi. Bruce and Sam were childhood friends and they both got their start with this franchise. Bruce has gone on to star in everything. Sam has gone on to be a very successful director, having done 3 Spider-Man films, Doctor Strange, Oz the Great and Powerful, amongst other things.
It's impressive.
The tagline from this movie poster is Dead by Dawn. IMDb describes the first movie as 5 friends travel to a cabin in the woods where they unknowingly release flesh-possessing demons. Wow, I'll try that again. Release flesh-possessing demons.
Say that 10 times fast.
And Evil Dead 2 as Ash Williams, the lone survivor of an earlier onslaught of flesh-possessing spirits, holds up in a cabin with a group of strangers while the demons continue their attack. Okay, that was a mouthful.
I will say I have somewhat of an issue with that synopsis. They didn't really summon the demons at all. They played the tape recording of the full uncut incantation that summoned the demons, which might have been a bit of a flaw in the original professor's logic there. He's like, yeah, if I speak this aloud, I'm gonna summon all the demons that'll kill everybody. So I'm gonna tape it over in its entirety,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
somebody can play it back.
Because what if you need to do it more than once and the demons have already got you?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good point. If the demons kill you, how do you summon them again?
Well,
Exactly.
I agree. The IMDb summary was shit. So my dad, he did the hard work to watch these movies. Let's see what he says. So for those of you that have not seen the movie, I asked my 93-year-old dad to watch Evil Dead and summarize the plot.
This movie is about the evil dead, or perhaps we should say the dead can still be evil. Anyway, that's what Ash and his girlfriend Linda experienced. Shortly after arriving in a romantic woodland cottage, the happy couple finds their evening plans interrupted when Ash discovers a tape with mysterious passages from a historic Book of the Dead. Just like that, reading the book's secret passages kills the human form of Linda and turns her into an evil spirit. When this happens, Ash, firm decision maker that he is, he decapitates Linda with a chainsaw and buries her. But her evil spirit is still active because her head bites Ash's hand when he tries to escape. Well, next, the daughter of the Death Book's author appears with her boyfriend, so now there are 4. The couple then involves 2 more people, so now we are 6, and it all becomes more complicated. After more rituals and violent struggles, Ash miraculously lands in the Middle Ages with, of all things, his Oldsmobile. A group of medieval knights discovers him and is about to attack him, but they discover that Ash is actually their hero and savior. Predictably, they then lower their weapons and they pay him their deep respect. And since it ended so well, it is now known to all of us that we did not need to be scared and frightened during the movie. So, enjoy the movie and see you soon.
I like that summary much better.
You didn't make him watch both.
I felt bad making my dad watch Evil Dead as it is. I think he was a little confused through the movie, as I think you could be on the first watch. But let's get into it. First, I want a quick reaction from you guys. What did you think of these films?
Well, I really enjoyed the fact that I could see where a lot of inspirations for other horror movies I really love came from. Like, a lot of the scenes, I could very clearly see where the inspiration came from in later movies. But overall, I did not really like them.
Oh, okay. Mathew, I bet you have a different take.
Yeah, this is like cinema at its most feral in a lot of ways. And I was thinking about this. It's like these are young filmmakers in the woods with like no budget, right? And the monster really kind of was the camera in this. The way that the director weaponized the lens, like the rushing and the swooping and the crashing through doors, it's like the act of filming itself became the threat, which I love. And yeah, I mean, some of it looks really dated, but this was like so good at the time. And like to what Nicole says, like she can see how many influences, how much influence it's had on horror making history. But it's dated, but you can't not love it still.
Evan, what'd you think?
I'd say I had a very similar opinion. I think one of the best parts about the horror genre is you kind of get the ability to do a lot of cool things with the camera, and you can kind of really justify it in any way because you're working with supernatural stuff. And so like they were doing POV shots, they had shaky cam before it was cool. Like there was so much here that like they didn't need to take those risks, and they absolutely did. It was real good. That being said, I usually find a lot of these kind of films super predictable, and I had no idea what was going to happen at any given moment because the pacing of this film was absolutely insane. Like we had like right from the beginning, they open the book and then there's like nightmarish creatures, and then they just go back to their day and they're completely fine. And then the nightmarish creatures come and they just seem unbothered. So I liked it. I had whiplash by the end of it. I couldn't believe what I had watched.
That's a great way of describing it.
I will say, I enjoyed the first one a lot more. I really, really liked the first one just as like a horror movie. The second one was hard for me to sit through.
Well, I have to say, for me, this is one of my favorite horror franchises of all time. Like, I love the Ash character. I love Bruce Campbell, and I love his character Ash. For me, and I've never watched the two of these back to back, and it's really a good way to watch it. And to me, Evil Dead is a great horror flick. Like, I really think it's a good, solid, scary horror flick. Evil Dead 2 is a super fun movie. So, they obviously changed their tone between the two movies. I find the over-the-top performance by Bruce Campbell to be amazing. The creatures and the special effects I thought were super fun. And yeah, as you guys mentioned, like Sam Raimi pioneered a lot of filming techniques in this movie. Like he invented the shaky cam, and the shaky cam is used in so many horror films right now. And this movie is where you see it for the first time.
Now that I'm thinking about it and I'm looking back on my notes, really, I did like the first one. I didn't have a lot of problems with the first one. It was all the second one that made me think I didn't like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about 1 versus 2?
I went into 2 so confused because the first few minutes of 2 are just like a retelling of 1 with a couple different details changed. And so I wasn't sure if it was a remake or what I was watching. And then it like kind of specified when we kind of caught up to where 1 ended. But I was lost for a good portion of 2. So I'd say I enjoyed 1 a lot more.
Well, I can explain that to you, Evan. So these two guys, Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi, developed this franchise on their own. They developed it first in 1978 and under a film called Within the Woods for $1,600. So they made it for $1,600. It was a 30-minute film, a version of this. They used it to raise $300,000, which is what they needed to make Evil Dead. And I got a whole bunch of really cool facts about the making of Evil Dead that'll blow your mind. Then they launched Evil Dead and they moved on to a few other projects, both these guys, and they were underwhelming products, so they decided to revisit Evil Dead. They sold the rights to Evil Dead originally for pennies on the dollar for almost nothing because they thought there's no need to do a sequel. They're like, we'll never revisit this again, but they changed their mind. So for Evil Dead 2, they had sold the rights, but they realized when they looked back, they only sold the rights to the movie and not the characters. So the reason...
Oh, so they just recreate...
The reason...
Oh, the fine print.
The reason Evil Dead 2 is confusing, and I know a lot of people think, like, is he going to the cabin again? No, they actually, in the first 7 minutes, remade the first movie, but they had to make slight changes so that they wouldn't infringe copyright.
Ah, okay. It's so funny how, as a sequel... I can't think of another movie that went from horror into essentially comedy. It's like the first one is dread and the second one is delirium, right? And it's sort of like this weird pivot and it's sort of laughing at itself without losing its sort of horror edge. It's sort of, I don't know. Was this like the first splatter comedy, Olen? Right?
This is very early. So really, this movie and Gremlins, which was 1984, are both credited with pioneering what these guys call the slapstick genre. So the comedy genre, and so now it continues. Lots of guys do this. The Scream franchise, we all know that, right? Like
I do like that genre quite
a
lot.
This did pioneer it. This really did. And I was watching interviews with Bruce Campbell last night, and when they came back to revisit the film, both him and first of all, the original film had comedy in it, guys, but they edited it out because they're like, we need to be serious about this. And so they made it a pure horror by taking out any of the witty lines from it. By the time they got to the second one, they said, why does it have to be serious all the time? Why can't we just have some fun? And so much of what happened in Evil Dead 2 was just ad-libbed.
Yeah.
It kind of shows too. I don't think we went 5 minutes in that movie without some form of zinging one-liner. He attaches the chainsaw to his hand and he goes groovy. That was my favorite point, I think, of both movies. That was awesome.
That might be my favorite point in life.
I have no notes.
That's my favorite life experience, is watching that scene.
And I know that because every time I watched a horror movie my whole life, you've been like, but does it have a chainsaw hand?
Yeah.
You love that bit.
Chainsaw hand, I mean, that is on my best list, my best of all time list.
I will say, all right, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure where we're going with like best moments and everything, but I do think that him attaching a chainsaw to his hand and then the final villain of Evil Dead 2 being a massive tree is an underrated bit. I think that that's fantastic. I think a haunted tree coming in to fight Chainsaw Hand McGee is, I think, the greatest thing that they possibly could have done.
Chainsaw Hand McGee. That is a great name for a future sequel.
I like it. You name things like I do.
Well, that's great, Evan. I hadn't noticed that tie-in, and that is great as well. So one thing I wanted to say, I really admire the tenacity of these guys, like getting this film made. Like, they wanted to do it. First of all, the cabin set was also their accommodation. There were 13 crew. So you saw that cabin. It was disgusting. It's a real cabin.
You know, but can I just go on that? You can. They did such a good job. The director, you can smell the dampness of that cabin through the screen, right?
I had a visceral reaction to that cabin, especially going into it. I knew it was a real cabin.
Also, I just have to say, first of all, never take a great deal on a cabin in the middle of nowhere. But second of all, if you get somewhere that you're going to stay, and there are bones hanging from the ceiling, you need to leave. You need to leave.
I agree.
Because even if you're not in a horror movie, it's some kind of witchcraft, and you don't want to be there.
Or at least she gets possessed for a moment and starts drawing in her notebook, and then she's just okay with that. She goes to dinner with the rest of her friends afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, you got to look at yourself and be like, we should go. We should not be here.
By the way, that was a shit drawing. That ghost should go to art school.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, I wanted to finish my point. So my point was, I really admired the tenacity of these guys getting this done and making this a successful franchise. So the cabin was their set, 13 crew living there with no plumbing. And by the end of the film, they were actually literally burning the furniture in order to stay warm at that cabin.
Wow.
Half the actors left the film halfway through, and they had to make do with the people that they had there to get the film done. So there is, at some point, some of the girls switch out, and you don't really notice it.
Why did they leave?
Because of the conditions.
I'm guessing because it's cold
because
and there's no plumbing.
There's no plumbing, and they slept in that cabin, and just all they did was work and sleep in that disgusting cabin in the woods in the cold.
Where's your commitment?
And Bruce Campbell,
honestly, skill issue.
Bruce Campbell put his family property up as collateral so that Sam could finish the picture. So all of these things, I'm just saying, you got to admire guys that are like, I really want this bad. This is what I want to do for my living, and they did it.
I do admire it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does feel like the first one feels like a labor of love. Everything in it feels like they were passionate about making it, which makes me happy to see.
And I can speak on that too. That makes a huge difference. Like, especially at that level, low budget, like you've just got a bunch of people who just want to be there. They're not getting paid all that much. The only thing that is going to make that film good and is like actually going to make sure you get it done is everybody being on the same page and working towards it. So hearing that people like actually walked off the set is kind of crazy to me, because I mean, they got it done. They made a cult classic horror movie on like a shoestring budget with bad accommodations. That's super impressive.
Yeah, and
they made a cult classic before cult classic became a marketing term, right? Like this was instant. Like the moment it came out, it was cult classic, right? Just so loved.
And I think the fact that they were all miserable really added to the movie, the first movie, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, those girls looked miserable. Didn't even have to act.
So, Evan, I want to ask you, Bruce Campbell's one of my favorite actors. I love the guy. What are your thoughts on his acting style and the difference between Evil Dead 1 and 2? Because he changed his style completely, right?
It's completely different. I think his style kind of mirrors like the filmmaking between Evil Dead 1 and 2, where he just kind of like accepted that it was going to be campy and accepted that it was kind of like he knew what he was going. It felt like he was trying to be serious in the first one, and you had a couple like really good moments for him. Like the one that comes to mind is when he's convincing her not to go into town, and then ends up eventually taking her. I was watching that, I was like, wow, that was a genuine, really good moment of acting. Like I believed that was fully what was happening. And then in the second one, he leans fully into like the witty one-liners. He chops off his hand with a chainsaw and then places farewell to arms next to his severed hand. That's phenomenal. That's hilarious.
That.
But I do think that he leaned kind of into that, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like a parody of the horror genre, but it's not quite. Like he knew exactly what he was creating. And I kind of have to respect that.
Yeah. I liked his acting better in the first one because I thought the character felt like a genuine nice person in a bad situation. I felt there was more depth to his acting. And then in the second one, it was like, oh, immediately this guy just kind of feels like a dickhead. I don't like that.
Well,
where did the nice man go?
I have an opposite view. So he did a good job in the first one, but in the first one, I find him to be ordinary. Like, I think anybody could have done that, if I'm being honest. But in the second one, he's now found his style. And by the way, he's carried that into most of the roles that he's done. But he's found a unique style, and I really like it.
Ash versus the Evil Dead is hilarious.
Yeah, look, we'll get to all of the sequels and ratings, but that's a fairly high, I mean, that's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, that series. And I've only seen a few episodes, so I got to get back to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. There's the one scene where like his reflection is going, and it turns out that he's just kind of like, I think he's going mad or he's going crazy. I'm not sure exactly what's happening there, but that was like, I think that's kind of indicative of his entire style. He had that like big screaming and like down to the quiet, and then like his moment of smoldering. Like I feel like that really kind of sums up what he's doing as an actor.
I agree.
While we're
Evan, can you show us smoldering, please?
On this verbal podcast, I can say this.
While we're on the topic of the actors, I didn't realize until after when I looked up the cast that it has one of my favorite actors of all time in it, Ted Raimi. But he is literally just playing the zombies. Like, he's in so much makeup that you can't even tell it's him. But I love him. He's so fun.
Must be Sam's brother.
I think it must be, based on the names. But I think he's really good. I really like him in everything I see him in. But I just love that he was playing the zombies. It was like, he brought him in like, I need someone to be in a zombie suit. You're here.
And he's like, I'll do it.
He's credited as possessed Henrietta.
That's
but he's
hilarious.
in the first and the second one. He plays multiple zombies. They just kept putting him in different makeup.
Evan, if you need support for any of your films, we'll all put on zombie makeup for you.
People are so willing to be in zombie costumes. It's insane. If you put
funny.
out the call for extras on a film and you get to say like you get to be a zombie, it increases your participation by like at least 200%. People love to just kind of like sit there and groan and moan.
Well, can you confirm
I would love
this?
to do that.
Can you confirm this, that this genre is so big now that they actually have zombie acting schools? Is that true, Evan?
I've heard that. I haven't had any personal experience with aforementioned zombie acting schools, but that isn't the first time that I've heard
Sounds
that.
like someone couldn't get in.
Have you guys noticed? Have you guys noticed how well South Korea has started doing horror films over the last 5 or 6 years?
They're phenomenal. We've got so many U.S. horror films that are based on South Korean horror films.
Train to Busan is
It's
my
the zombie
favorite
acting
zombie
schools.
film. So.
They've got the zombie universities there. They're just good at it.
on the topic of the zombies, oh my god, my thought's gone. No, ADHD, don't do this to me.
Okay.
It's gone.
Do you guys prefer the 90-minute or the 7-minute version of Evil Dead 1?
The 90.
Okay. Now, one other thing I want to call out. So Evan, we did a really cool episode on Jumanji, and we had the guy that made the game from Jumanji on as a guest. Really, really cool episode. And I said it then, to me, the Book of the Dead is my favorite prop in movie history.
I think it's a really cool prop. It looks realistic. I think the drawings are cool. I think when they throw it in the fire and like the face comes out, like it's instantly iconic.
That was really cool.
I have to say.
I think it looked cool then. I also think they did it justice in the 2023 sequel continuation, whatever it was. I think they did it justice there too.
Yeah, it's getting better as they have more money, but it's a
cool prop.
It's a cool concept. It really is. A book made of skin.
Yeah, I'm in.
As
They really
opposed to the
fleshed it
books
out,
that
too,
Mathew
in the
reads,
second.
which are skin books.
No.
Sorry, Evan, go ahead.
No, it's just in the second movie. Like at the first movie, it was great. They were like, "Yeah, Book of the Dead, super creepy." And then the intro to the second movie is, back when the seas ran red with blood, they made the Book of the Dead, and they used that blood to ink its pages. And it was like, oh, we're getting like an exposition lore drop. They're really fleshing out this world of the Book of the Dead, which really kind of tied into the ending when he goes, I believe, into the book.
Yeah. No, I don't think he went into the book, but, well, I just think he went back in time. I have no idea. That part's confusing.
Did he go back into? I thought he was like in the world of the dead.
No,
I wasn't sure.
I think he's just back in time. Well, Evil Dead 3 tells me he's just back in time.
Which is your favorite of the series, if I'm correct.
It is my favorite in the series. Evil Dead 3 is my favorite. Just quickly checking the authenticity of this movie. Would you guys make any of these moves? Going to a cabin of questionable quality, opening the door to the basement, going down into the creepy basement, reading the incantation. I know they didn't read it, but I would have stopped that tape player. Running into the woods at night without a flashlight when you're scared. And last one, would you follow Bubba Joe into the woods? These all seem like questionable behaviors to me.
No to all of them. And you know what else I would do? Pack more than one flashlight when you're 5 people going into the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
And if my friend went into the basement and then stopped responding and was pranking me like that, he's getting locked in. I'm not going after him.
I have it on my best
joke's
parts,
on him.
dude pranks. Love it.
Dude prank.
He's dead to me.
So the one thing I noticed though, okay, if somebody started, okay, so first of all, it's a really small cabin. And all of this like screaming and action happens like in a next room in a cabin that's like just wooden walls, right? And people don't hear it, or they're like, they hear a massive crash and a scream, and they just sit there like for 5 minutes. What was that? Maybe we should walk over and check it out. They weren't really helping their friends too much.
Yep.
I'll be honest, I think they just don't care, quite frankly. Because, I mean,
I don't think
after
they like
the first
each other.
Evil Dead appeared and made the speech about all of them dying, they were fine. They just went back to their normal lives. Like, I think that this is just normal days for them. And they're like, oh, well, that's weird.
I think they just didn't like
Whatever.
their friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't like each other that much.
No. Did you see how unbothered they were anytime one of their friends died? They were just like, I guess Cheryl's dead. Oh, well.
Oh, and then like in the first part, like of the first one, it's like, oh, okay, she's dead. Let's bury her here as opposed to taking her home to her family. Let's just bury her outside of this cabin.
It was his girlfriend.
Once again, going into the woods.
He just dismembered his girlfriend, and then he was like, what? She's dead. Like, you're not going to grieve for a second?
Okay, so Evan, building on what you said, I wanted to ask you guys, what would you do in this situation, really? Your friend has now turned into a witch and threatened to kill all of you.
I feel like, look, I didn't like him at first. I thought that Scotty was going to be a complete asshole. But honestly, our only character that knew what he was doing. I mean, right from the beginning, as soon as the possessed person gets in there, he knocks him out, he throws him into the cellar, he chains him up single-handedly. Like, Scotty was a closer. Scotty knew exactly how to take care of this. I think I'd follow his example. At least I'd like to think I would.
I don't like that he left on his own, though. I feel like, I mean, abandon your friends if they're being stupid, sure. But, like, going into the woods alone, that maybe seems stupid.
He's fine. He was fine. He comes back almost dead, and Ash starts shaking him and demanding to know what there's blood coming off of his face as
and
he's
feeding him juice.
Like, this comes back to, like, Ash doesn't care. Feeding him juice.
Just drowning him in juice. He's unconscious. Don't put juice in his mouth.
Okay, before we get into some of those parts, I just have 2 technical questions here. First of all, what is the mechanism for possession, and what are the rules for killing them? Because I couldn't quite follow it. How do you get possessed? Is it biting? Is it fluid exchange?
I think it's the smoke. That's what the white smoke seemed to be what they were indicating there. Because I mean, when you go out into the woods, we see in Evil Dead 2 the smoke disappear into the tree. When Cher goes out into the woods, we see the smoke saying like "join us." Like I'm fairly certain the spirits are in the smoke, but I'm also not 100%.
Smoke didn't get
for
on
our
Linda.
new segment. True.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Olen, for a new segment, if it was a porn, it'd definitely be fluid exchange.
It's
Probably.
okay. I've got to say, because in
Genre
most
shift.
of the cases, it was whenever someone got goo in their mouth or in a wound, all that black goo, that was when people were getting infected, except they didn't stay consistent. And in all the later movies, because I haven't seen 1 and 2 until now, but I've seen some of the more recent ones. In all those ones, it's always goo. It's the goo that infects you.
So then, next technical question.
The ichor. Yeah.
But we also, at the end of Evil Dead 1, like one of the big possessions was the thing coming through the woods and hitting Ash. and that's how he got possessed. And that wasn't a fluid
Yeah.
exchange. That was just him like
Oh,
getting
you're right.
got.
Yes.
But he also had so much goo in his wounds. So was it just that it was like dormant in him? I don't know.
Delayed reaction.
Because it
Delayed
also,
goo.
he kept getting possessed and then just being like, oh, never mind. Sorry about that.
Never mind.
That's true. That's
Next
true.
technical question is the fluids. So what is the fluid in a witch zombie? Because I saw blue goo, I saw cottage cheese, I saw green goo, I saw lots of blood, and I saw brown diarrhea. All of these fluids came out of witches at one point.
Well, the blue was clearly Dawn dish soap. Not
So,
sponsored.
so the witches were doing dishes before they got killed?
Exactly. You know when you're doing dishes and you accidentally swallow a whole bunch of dish soap and then later on you spit it out?
They got bit by rabid Smurf.
Honestly, the worst
think-
for me was the cottage cheese spilling out.
That was
Yeah.
repulsive.
That was
They
rough.
did have lots of
I,
good
speaking as a
gross
filmmaker,
stuff.
you make do with what you have. Olin, you said there wasn't plumbing
No,
in this
no
cabin.
plumbing.
I think that's your answer right there. I think that's your goo inside the monsters.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to be the one to have to tell you that.
In fact, knowing there's no plumbing, I know that Bruce Campbell several nights drove home in his car just fully soaked and drenched in blood.
But the bridge.
Yeah, but the bridge.
But the bridge was gone.
Yeah, how did he get home?
Before I get to best parts, I just want to ask you guys, how do you feel about the endings to these movies?
Loved the first, hated the second.
I agree.
Yeah, the second one was sort of ugh.
The second one was clearly meant to provide a continuation to the third, right?
Yeah.
Setting up
But
for a
I
prequel.
feel like because of how disjointed that felt, they should have done end it just before that, and then in the next one show him getting pulled into the thing, and then where he ends up.
That would have been better.
Because
Yeah.
it was too disjointed for me.
Because he burned the book, which apparently got rid of the Evil Dead, but then they're also fine. And is it because pages of the book survived with the characters that we see in Evil Dead 2?
Well, they
Or is it just
remade
unrelated?
they remade that little, like, they basically canceled
Oh,
out the
right, that's
ending of
not-
the last one by
True.
redoing it in the first
Yeah.
7 minutes.
Yeah, Evil Dead 2, they unburned the book. So he had the book again, and it was missing
Unburned the book.
pages. That was the secret.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
So they did change that.
Unbreak my heart, unburn my book.
Okay, let's cover off any best parts that you haven't talked about yet. We said Chainsaw Hand is one all-time favorite of mine. I can tell you my favorite scene from both movies together was the fighting your own hand scene,
That was hilarious. I loved that.
which, Evan, that was completely improvised, and they got it on the first take.
He
The
improvised
whole
that?
thing was improvised.
Nah, that's great.
Oh, my respect for him just went up so much. That was
was a good
incredible.
scene.
The choreography on that was fantastic.
I loved it.
I enjoyed that. I liked him hitting himself over the head with plates. It was
Yep.
pretty entertaining. And a possessed hand gag is always funny to me.
Yeah.
I liked that the hand was like trying to drag his unconscious body across the floor, and it was just going like,
I mean, that's homage to Addams Family, right, Matthew?
for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I was watching Wednesday last night. Have you watched
have
it,
not.
Nicole? The new
Why are you
Wednesday?
watching Wednesday on Friday?
The- Wednesday is
Doesn't make
it's
any
such,
sense.
It's such a good show. It has Joanna Lumley's in it as her grandmother, and you gotta love Joanna Lumley. And Lady Gaga's in it as a
Well,
ghost.
then I'm in.
It's fantastic. Yeah. And Pugsley, her brother, the kid who's acting, I think he's gonna keep going. He's so good. You can, when you see like young actor and you're like, yeah, dude, you just don't get into the drugs and you're gonna make it.
Yeah. Well, I really liked just the way that they filmed, like the first one. I thought the way they filmed it, the way they used the camera, all the angles, it was really great.
I totally agree, and I love the fact that they pioneered a lot of that stuff. And do you guys know, like, Quentin Tarantino reveres these films? He absolutely loves these films.
Of course he
Also,
does.
I
He's a
like
freak.
Yeah. That makes
I like the writing of the first one, the way that they had so many moments where they were like, it felt like they were building up to a jump scare, and then they just like kept opening doors and nothing was there. Like they built the tension and then they just went nowhere with it for so long. It made me laugh.
I have a slight change to that. That was one of my favorites that they did, and a lot of I think older horror movies did this. Friday the 13th, of course, is the iconic scene where the car drives all the way down the driveway and you get to see the entire thing. But like we got so many different shots where like it was just people walking through houses not doing anything and they kept building up. And then right when you didn't expect it, when like again like one of the girls was drawing in her notebook, that's when we get the insane jump scares. Like they built up the tension to absolutely nothing, and then later when they had no tension built up at all, they're like, "Oh yeah, they're here. The dead are here." Like, it was just it was crazy timing on all of that, which again I kind
loved
of
it.
love.
That was one of my favorite parts.
I thought Evil Dead 1 was a legit good horror film. Good scary horror film.
I agree.
Turn the lights out and watch it. Be great.
I like Chekhov's bridge.
Oh yeah.
And like at the beginning, like, wow, this bridge is super unstable. I sure hope nothing happens to it. And it's like,
I liked when they were driving
I
over the
see.
bridge and their tires fully went through and they opened the door and they were just like, huh, all right. And then they kept driving.
Yeah, that's
I liked the bridge in Evil Dead 2. And I laughed out loud because Mathew, does that feel like Mr. Rogers to you with the trolley? It was so fake. It was hilarious.
By the way, just so everyone knows this, I watched the wrong Evil Dead.
2013.
Yeah, and then was like, oh damn, and so I watched 3 Evil Deads this
Oh my
week.
god.
Lucky you.
Well, shout out the most recent Evil Dead is a legit good movie. Good scary movie.
Yeah.
It's a great
okay.
great concept.
We watched the 2023 one together and I love that movie. It was so good.
Yeah.
Who did the 2023 one? Like which studio?
That I don't know.
I don't know, but I liked the cast. I thought they all did great. And because I hadn't seen any of the other ones, I didn't really know where it was going. It felt very different from the first ones because everything happened really fast in that one. It was like nonstop action.
Yeah, it was another story using the same book and the same premise.
Yeah.
Okay, before we move on, I just want to shout out a couple other things. First of all, I thought great monsters / special effects, like stop motion rotting corpses, the chainsaw into the headless corpse. I love it.
I loved the stop motion.
Evil trees. Yeah. I love the mirror scene. Like I like it better in the second one when he comes out of the mirror.
And he's choking him, and then it flips and it shows that he's actually just choking himself. I liked that as well.
And
that's a classic.
Snakehead mom zombie. Great creature.
Long neck zombie.
Long neck zombie. I love it. And then the second thing we just have to state again before we move on is just the innovative filming. Things like blood in a light bulb, the blood on the projector screen. Like those are just such fun elements.
Yeah. One thing I really liked actually about the second one was that scene where Ash is running through the house and he's running through like rooms we didn't even know it had. He's just running laps around the house with the camera chasing him. Yep. And just like looking behind him, stumbling through doors, and it just keeps going for so long.
There was a lot of door work in this movie.
It was great.
A lot of door work.
Yeah.
Door work.
Nightmare
that
for the
would be
DP.
a fun specialty in the film industry. It's like, I'm a door guy.
Yeah.
You want slamming doors? I'm your guy.
Do you want to know something that's maybe a little bit telling about
Oh
me?
no.
Always.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
Even my brother mentioned when my brother first visited, he goes, "This is a solid door." I hate hollow doors, so I overspend whenever I've moved or renovated. I have solid wood. All of my doors are solid wood. I cannot stand hollow doors. I don't know why. It's this weird psychological thing. I replace doors so they're solid
I don't want
wood.
ghosts to be able to smash my door down.
I commend you, Matthew. That's just good choices.
I will say, Nicole, you're joking about the ghost smashing the door down. We get 3 individual separate shots in these 2 movies of the ghost chasing the person right up to the house, and then they close the door, and the ghost is like, damn,
that part was
stop.
funny.
Guess I can't get in. 3 separate times we get that. Just to reinforce the idea that if you've got a good door, ghosts can't
That was a
get
bad
you.
door. It had holes in it. I think...
No, the ghost break through the wall like 2
I think
minutes
the
later.
ghost.
But the
I
door...
think the ghost was just like, this cabin's gross. I don't want to go in there.
Well, one of those scenes, Evan, I loved,
Stamp.
which is when the girl stabbed Bubba, and then she's trying to shut the door, and she keeps slamming it on his ribs, and ow, pull him a little further, slamming on his foot.
That
Ow.
was good. And
Stop, he's already
I
dead.
like that she slammed it on him, at his ribs like 10 times. And then she was like, okay, fine, I'll move you.
Like it was going to give at some point. Yeah, that was after she stabbed him.
She had some personal beef with Bubba.
She did.
I would too. He seemed not great.
I said it at the start, like, who's going to follow Bubba into the dark woods? Anyhow. Okay, let's highlight some worst parts, and this one is only relevant to me and Nicole. I called out watching it in French because we accidentally loaded the French version of Evil Dead, and it is not good.
It was making me so angry because I kept selecting audio English, and then it would restart in French. It was making me so upset.
And they did not get an appropriate dubbing actor for Bruce Campbell.
No.
It's horrible. I had choice of cabin as worst part. Like that, if you're going away, I think going away for a weekend with your friends is awesome. That's a great thing to do. But honestly, make better choices about the cabin.
Yeah. I had purposely upsetting someone and then saying it's a joke. I don't like that.
Okay.
Not one bit.
I'll stop it then. I thought they really tapped into some primal fears here. The dark woods, like the woods at night are scary. Basements.
With cellar doors particularly, that makes a basement worse.
Eye gouging.
That cellar door played a big
Yeah.
role.
Yeah, it did.
My worst part in all of the movies that upset me the most was being stabbed in the Achilles.
Oh.
That actually makes me want to puke. It's one thing that always upsets me.
I was so certain you were about to say the tree scene. Can we talk
Please.
about that for a second? What the heck was
The tree
that?
thing was worse,
So-
but
And
the
it-
Achilles is personally triggering.
That tree scene, my husband was telling me that tree scene is what got this movie banned in
It's
the
true.
United Kingdom.
Yeah, that tracks. That
And-
tracks
Yeah.
for me
Awful.
because again, you've got this like woman out in the woods who's then like assaulted by the shrubbery in like a very like graphic and
And
specific
it's
way,
so upsetting.
and then we just never touch
No,
that again.
they never talk about it
Like
again.
it doesn't have any part of the lore. It's not like a face hugger sequence where like that's where the monster comes from. It's just
There
like
was
oh,
no
well,
point.
we're done with that.
No point. They wanted to get her naked, and they wanted to sexualize her, and then they assaulted her, and they were like, okay, we're good. You can keep acting now.
So, Evan, we have a category in this podcast called Woke or Joke where we touch on anything that really didn't age well, and I think that's it for this movie. I agree with you.
I think that's probably
Bizarre scene did not need to be in there. Sam Raimi himself has stated that he regrets putting that scene in the movie.
That makes me feel a bit better, at least.
Yeah, and you'll...
See, he says that, but he does it again in the second.
it
At
was
least
not-
the second one, the trees didn't...
Or it's not as it's not
The
as
trees
graphic,
didn't
but
pry her
we do
legs
get almost
open.
an exact shot for shot.
Which
That's true.
was really one of the worst parts about it was what the tree did specifically. So
I watched
like
it
that
closely. In the second one, it was not tree rape, it was tree abduction. Like, it grabbed her, tied her up, and then dragged her through the woods, which I thought was a fun touch, the dragging.
The dragging's fine. Yeah, it was really just in the first one, everything the tree did to her was very upsetting and unnecessary.
Yeah, I guess it does. It does fit in kind of the idea of them like retconning the previous movie, where they're like, okay, now it's tree abduction. We still got our cool tree scene, but we're gonna get rid of the whole.
I don't know,
aspect.
but I would guess that that's Sam Raimi's sort of apology for doing that, making that one mistake in the first film, is to retell it, because the trees were a big part of this. Like, there was something up with the forest.
Yeah. I just feel like it was so unnecessary, that scene, so I'm glad that they kind of amended it in the second one.
Let's highlight a couple of favorite lines, and then I'm going to tell you how this movie did.
Oh
So,
wait, can I say one more bad part?
yeah.
The continuity errors, especially in number 2, made me
Thank you.
so frustrated. I
Thank
felt
you.
like every second I was writing down a continuity error. Ash facing left, face covered in goo. When he's facing right, he's totally clean. Did he shower in between the shots? Like,
No, because there's no plumbing.
They didn't care about the blood continuity at all. He got doused head to toe, walks through a door. He's
exactly.
pristine.
Not even through the doorways. He was like laying down, covered head to toe in blood, standing up. Now he's got no blood on him. Like, what's happening?
After a certain point, it felt like a feature of the movie. Like, I started to really enjoy it. How, like, somebody got, like, stabbed in the leg, and then they get up and run, and then we see the wound, and it's, like, a tiny scratch, and it's like, that's not...
Yeah.
We
That's
saw
not
that
what
happen
happened.
differently, right?
And what about the obvious mannequin wigs that they stuck on the women when they became like the creatures?
I loved
like that wasn't. I'm
was
like
one of the best
that.
parts.
I'm like that wasn't even the color of her
I
hair.
love that every time a woman
Right?
turned into a zombie, she got a Golden Girls wig.
Estelle Getty.
It was like, you had fashionable hair, but you're a zombie now? Guess you have an old lady wig.
They all turned into Estelle Getty. That wasn't a witch, it was Estelle Getty.
And when they turned into zombies,
It was
instead
everywhere.
of putting makeup on the hands in the first one, they were just wearing baggy white gloves. Did anyone else notice that? They were just...
I didn't see
They were
the
just
glove.
ill-fitting gloves. It wasn't makeup. It was just baggy gloves.
You know,
To be fair, they didn't have that much
the
money.
effects were good,
to
but
be
there
fair.
were like even the witch masks you could see around the eye where the rubber was coming away. Anyhow, still a fun movie.
Okay.
Favorite lines? Who wants to say the classic line?
Groovy.
That's the one.
Groovy.
And have you guys heard the lore of the line work shed? In the second one, there's just before the chainsaw scene in the shed, where he says we're going out to the work shed, but somehow the audio got screwed up and he overdubbed the word work shed, but it is so different in its sound to the rest that people keep mocking it.
I didn't notice that.
That was one of my favorites, I think, when like there's nobody else there. He's fighting his own hand, and just for nobody but himself, he goes, "Work shed," and then goes to the work shed. It's like,
that's
nice.
the scene.
Now I know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there's this movie, on the we're gonna get you one by one. Remember when she says that? That's sampled in a dance tune that I used to dance to, and I've been trying to find it. They sample the creatures in the movie in a dance track. It's fantastic. Anyway, little aside there.
My favorite quote is less about the quote and more about the moment that it was from, when it was in the second one, when the couple was like, "You're holding my hand too tight." I'm not holding your hand.
Oh, that's good.
I love a good moment like that.
Well, tell you what. Why don't we talk about how these movies did?
Wait. I have two favorite lines really
please.
quickly, if that's okay. And both of them have to do with like lack of prioritization at all. The first one is when they go down and they first find the Book of the Dead in the cellar, and it's like a book wrapped in skin, written in blood. They find the like skeleton blade, and Scotty's first line is, "Damn, dude, looks like your
Great
ex-girlfriend."
line.
And that is not, you just found like a dead blade made of human skulls. That should not be your first reaction.
That's funny.
And then later, when I think Cheryl gets possessed for the first time, and she goes like, her entire body is withered. We see the black goo coming out. Like she gets the Golden Girl wig. She's like, complete zombified. And the other girl just keeps screaming, "What happened to her eyes?"
Yeah.
And I was sitting there laughing my head off. I'm like, her eyes? Brother, she's floating in the air. What do you mean
That's
her
the
eyes?
least of her problems.
That should not be. That's the least of our worries right now.
I also liked the way they revealed
Those
that
are two
she
of my
was
favorites.
possessed now was evil card tricks. She just started saying the cards. Like, that's really what...
Eight of spades, seven
That's
of
what
diamonds.
the demon is using to reveal itself. He's like, I know how I'll let them know I'm here. With the ace of clubs.
Knowledge of the unknowable.
Well, that just confirms my belief that magicians are evil. Okay, I'm going to tell you how this movie did, or these movies did. So according to Box Office Mojo Worldwide, Evil Dead was the 116th at the box office in 1983. So I say 1983 at the top. I said the movie was made in 1981. So it actually took 2 years to get proper distribution. So when they initially released the movie, it was not successful, but they couldn't get good distribution. So it was only in a handful of theaters and they barely made any money. They didn't make their money back. But they managed to get proper distribution thanks to Stephen King, who saw the movie and loved the movie. And because of him, they got distribution. And then we'll talk about how it did. But it got to 116th, which for $300,000 actually is not so bad. And
Pretty solid.
this is the year at the box office where Return of the Jedi dominated. It was the number one. And this movie was beat by other horror movies, Jaws 3D, Psycho 2, Cujo, Christine. But 116th isn't actually the bottom. In fact, it beat out Videodrome.
Wow.
And Videodrome is a really cool movie. In 1987, so Evil Dead...
Videodrome's a fantastic
In 1987,
movie.
so Evil Dead 2, it got 14 points of improvement. It was 102 at the box office. And this is a year where Three Men and a Baby was the box office leader. And Evil Dead 2 was beat by A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Jaws 4, and Hellraiser.
Getting beat by Jaws both times, that's
know.
gotta suck.
But Evil Dead 2 beat out Monster Squad, and we're doing Monster Squad next week, and The Kindred. So, it was in there. Chariots of Fire and Last Emperor were the Best Picture winners, respectively. And as much as I love this genre, horror doesn't really win at the Oscars. And the closest we ever got to an Oscar for horror was Silence of the Lambs.
Which is a robbery, by the way.
Yeah, the Oscars don't like comedies or horror movies, so this is no surprise. Okay, let's talk about the budget. So we know Evil Dead, famously $300,000 budget. What do you think it did at the box office? And again, you typically have to double it to start making profit.
Is this the box office for the original release or the distribution?
We'll do the second one later. But Evil Dead 1, the $300,000 budget horror movie, what do you think it did at the box office? After Stephen King helped get it distribution, of course.
I want to say like 20 million. That might be generous for 116.
We'll find out.
Yeah, I'll go the same as you. I trust your judgment. You're a movie guy.
Matthew?
I'm going to say 19 million.
Okay, well, it only did...
Reverse Price is Righting yourself?
Did you just Price is Right me? Yeah.
That's his move. He waits in the background and then jumps in with $1 more. I'm surprised he didn't say 20 million and $1.
It better be over.
It's not.
Million.
It's 2.9 million. So just...
Oh my God.
Just to put it in perspective, Evan, if your first film, if you and your friends raised $300,000 and made a movie and you got 2.9 million back, would you be satisfied?
No, I'd be thrilled, but still, I imagine it's like a very popular franchise now. It's like the Stephen King recognition. I don't know. I had a bit more faith.
We'll talk about the next one, but for the first one, fun fact, 25% of the box office take was from drive-ins.
That makes sense.
This is a perfect drive-in movie.
It feels like a drive-in movie. Yeah.
Yes.
Olen, I think I saw this at a drive-in.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, originally.
I wish.
Yeah, I grew up in the days of drive-in movies where you actually had the thing attached to a wire and you hooked it onto the side of your window.
Yeah, you would have been like 13, 14 years old.
The sound, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It was called the Twilight Drive-In. That was the name of
the Twilight Drive-In.
That's a good name for a drive-in.
The Twilight Drive-In, that's the one
That's a good name
that was in, I don't know where in the Lower Mainland. That's the one we would go to all the time.
Oh, we had one in Ontario.
It's a common name for a drive-in. Evil Dead 2, so I'm not going to make you guys guess. The budget was 3.6, so they got more money for this. The box office take for Evil Dead 2 was 5.9 million. So if you really look at it, Evil Dead 1 did 10 times its budget. So it was profitable, even though it was only 2.9 million. Evil Dead 2 didn't even double its budget, so it's not a moneymaker. Okay, so now we're going to go to my favorite part of the podcast, which is the Rotten Tomatoes game. Evan, this is where we guess both critics and audience out of 100 what we think the Rotten Tomatoes score is. And if you don't know how Rotten Tomatoes works, Evan, it's just measuring whether people liked it or not. So it's not what they feel.
Yeah.
A 50 out of 100 doesn't mean it's only a 5 out of 10 movie. What it means is that 50% of the people that saw it said it's good, get out and see it. So critics and audience. Now, I'm going to give you guys a hint because we're going to do both Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2. And here's your hint for today, is that there's only a 5-point spread between critics and audience, both movies.
That shocks me, actually, because this feels like a popcorn movie. This feels like one that critics would hate, but
I didn't say they liked it. I just said there's only a 5-point spread between critics, audience for Evil Dead 1, critics, audience, Evil Dead 2. All 4 of them are within 5 points.
But audience, I adore this film, so I'm shocked that inevitably critics would have been higher than I would have thought, because I doubt that. I don't think there's enough assholes out there to say that they didn't like this movie.
I'm just gonna go 60-65 and 60-65. I'm guessing they're all within the 65 range. I could get more specific, but I'm pretty lazy. I never like to do...
It's fine. Evan, what do you think? Critics and audience?
I want Mathew to go first.
Smart. See? He's learning already.
80-85.
80-85.
All right, I'll round us out nicely. I say 70s. I say mid 70s.
Okay. So Matthew's winning this one. So here we go. Evil
Damn
Dead
it.
1, critics 86. 86% of critics said this is a good movie.
86 for critics.
And
If you hadn't told me, Olen, that there's only 5-point spread, I would have done like critics
know.
40, audience 80, right?
Yeah.
I know, I did it on purpose. You guys would have been all over the map with it. So Evil Dead 1, critics, 86% of them said this is a good film, and 84% of audience. So critics actually liked it better.
That's crazy.
And then
Wow.
Evil Dead 2, 88% of critics, 89% of audience.
Wow.
So this is a beloved and treasured horror franchise.
Do you think the critics liked it because of what I said at the beginning about how the camera itself sort of became the
Yeah,
horror
I
element?
think it's got to be
Just-
cinematography.
It's definitely the cinematography. Because that was what I enjoyed.
It's
about
not
it.
the writing.
No, it's definitely not
It
the
can't
right.
It's
be
not
the
the writing
writing.
and it's not the acting. So
I thought he was
yeah, fine doesn't get you 85%.
You'd be surprised.
Okay, so a little bit of movie trivia. First of all, Matthew, this fact brought to you by Uncommon Cannabis. Similar to the Jaws story, they actually smoked weed. You guys know the famous Jaws story, right? Where they did the scene where they're comparing scars, that Quinn got hammered for the scene because he thought he'd be better, but then he was incoherent, so they had to film it the next day when he sobered up. So similar to that, these guys actually smoked a ton of weed in the first shooting of the book reading, but they were all too baked and they had to reshoot it the next day. So don't
Nice.
act impaired, Evan.
Look, I don't mean to out film majors, but that pretty much tracks with everything I know. Yeah.
The eerie wind sound in Evil Dead 1 was real. Sam recorded it outside his bedroom window at the cabin.
That's awesome. I love that.
I told you that Evil Dead 1 originally had some comedy lines in it, but they decided to take them out and go pure horror. It was originally going to be titled The Book of the Dead, but it was changed because they thought kids would not go out and see a movie about a book.
Fair.
And
Books are boring.
Books.
everybody knows that the Coens have gone on to do great stuff. Joel Coen was an assistant editor on the film. Evil
wow.
Dead is one of the highest rated video rentals in its day.
That one makes a lot of sense to me. Like this, just the era of this movie that tracks
And
so much.
a real shotgun and real ammo was used in the film, and a real chainsaw when cutting up his girlfriend. And I note in Evil Dead 1, when I was watching that, Scotty grabs the gun and he waves it in Ash's face. And I thought, that is unsafe.
I did not like that. That was in my worst parts, actually, pointing guns at your friends.
Yeah.
You said that's a real chainsaw that he uses to
Yep.
cut up his
Real
girlfriend?
chainsaw.
Is that why they had to replace the actors?
Wow.
And then final fact, so we know Stephen King helped to get them distribution for the first one, but Stephen King actually helped them to raise the money for the sequel. Because nobody wanted to do it, but he called up his buddies and said, let's back this movie.
That's nice.
Woke or joke is the next category. We talked about it, but it's true that many critics have called the tree rape scene to be misogynistic, and Sam Raimi regrets putting it in the film. So good for you, Sam, for knowing you made a mistake.
Yeah, I admire the ability to own up to mistakes.
It was unnecessary. I think we agree. Okay, however you guys felt about this movie, I promise you there's others who liked it more or less than you. For Evil Dead, so I'm going to do all four categories here. For Evil Dead, there were 256 10-star reviews out of over 1,000 reviews. So I like this one. Evil Dead is my favorite midnight movie. The way it blends pure terror with moments of absurdity is unmatched. The possessed tree scene's classic. The slow build up to full-on chaos is perfect. It's a movie that feels alive, like the evil in the woods is watching you. Someone called Coventry said, a few nights ago, a couple of friends and myself watched The Evil Dead again. It was my 68th viewing, and for me, it means only one thing: party.
Party.
And someone called Bacon Balls, that's a good name. When I watched this for the first time, I made a huge mistake of watching it alone. Nearly every scene scared me to death. Even to this day, I have to pluck up the courage to watch this movie. The effect it had on me in the 80s lies firmly planted within me. And even when I hear anyone mention the title of this film today, it strikes me full of terror.
That's a little intense.
And for Evil Dead 2, I'm going to go on to the 10-star reviews for Evil Dead 2. There were 231 out of 732 reviews. So if you're not laughing at Ash fighting his own hand, you're not even watching. That was one review. Next one. Every time I see a cabin in the woods, I assume there's evil spirits and a chainsaw-wielding guy ready to pop out. Thanks, Rami, for ruining my vacations. And
It feels like a fair assumption.
and finally, Ash is my spirit animal.
That's fair.
But let's check in and see with people who didn't like these movies. So for Evil Dead, there were 40 one-star reviews, so a lot of people didn't like it. This guy says, I watched it today for the first time because I believed the rating. Frankly, this movie does not qualify as a good movie in any aspects. Screenplay, acting, horror, suspense, all 1 out of 10. If you want to watch something similar but better, go watch Wrong Turn series. And then this guy calls it Evil Dud.
Okay,
Classic.
I do like that.
So Evil Dead 2, there were 31 one-star reviews compared to the 231 10-star reviews. First one, calm down. It's just a cabin in the woods, not a theme park ride. I don't really understand that one.
Yeah, I don't know what he means, but
It's just evil spirits. Chill out. What are they going to do? Kill you?
relax.
Relax.
If this is supposed to be scary, then my grandma's knitting circle is terrifying.
I don't know what kind of knitting
Damn.
circle is it. It would
What?
be.
Watching a guy fight his own hand feels less scary and more like a weird yoga class gone wrong.
Again, what kind of yoga class? It feels like more of like a personal
Hand attack
experience.
yoga. You don't go to that?
One-handed yoga.
I missed it.
That is a Pornhub category, Matthew.
No, stop. I hate this segment.
Okay, well, let's consult the professionals, Siskel and Ebert. So for the original, I had to go to their newspaper columns because it came out before their movie show started up. Siskel praised its inventiveness and low-budget ingenuity, but found it violent and not for everyone. Ebert claimed that it was too gory and cheap and warned that it might only appeal to hardcore horror fans. But by the time Evil Dead 2 came around, they did have their show. They were both in a really good mood talking about this film. Siskel said he enjoyed the creatures and the stupid dialogue, but that after 30 minutes it became too much, a lot of frosting with very little cake, he said.
You know what? I agree with that review. That kind of captures how I felt about it. There were a lot of parts that I was like, this is fun. But overall, it was like, eh.
Yeah, it kind of matches my dad's review too, because he said like it just kind of went on. And then Ebert said it ran out of steam before the end. There wasn't enough story to keep it going, but he emphasized that he really liked what he saw. So it was 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down.
It's a pretty fair review, I think, of Evil Dead 2. I love a lot of frosting and not a lot of cake. That's kind of what we were watching.
I like frosting too. Let's talk about remake or sequels, and
I like cake.
we'll see would be. That's why we're such good friends, Matthew. We're never fighting. I take the icing, you take the cake.
Takes the cake.
So talking about sequels, so this went on to do a third movie, Army of Darkness, 1992, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's rated lower. It's Rotten Tomatoes, 69 critics and 87 audience, but I like it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's more of the second. It's the campy, funny. With it's really good if you want to laugh.
He's in medieval
Does it
times.
take place in the medieval
It
art?
does.
Yeah,
It completely does.
It's your favorite one?
I love the Ash character.
He's so good.
Because let's face it, everyone else in both of those movies were just demon fodder. Like it's all
Yeah.
about Ash.
Not Scotty.
And they
Scotty knew what he was doing.
yeah, I like that, Evan. You're really a Scotty fan. That's good.
I'm a Scotty fan. There were so many stupid decisions made, but not Scotty. Scotty showed up. Look, he's not going to sell jerseys, but with 30 seconds left with the game on the line, Scotty is who I want out there. He knows how to close.
Scotty!
So you're supporting a full Scotty sequel, right? Scotty focus.
I need a Scotty spinoff. I need a Scotty TV series. I need like Scotty merchandise. Everything. I'm a Scotty fan.
Okay, continuing on with this category. So
Beam
there
me
was
up.
an Evil Dead reboot in 2013. Matthew, how was it?
It wasn't bad, but the first one was way better.
Well,
right?
it was
Like,
rated lower. Rotten Tomatoes 63 and 64 for the reboot.
Yeah, I mean it was okay. It was okay, but when I got to the original one, it was just like, okay, yeah, this is.
Nicole and
Way
I saw
better.
the most recent one, Evil Dead Rise. I would say that's a very good film. Different. It's like true horror, but
It's more horror, less campy comedy, but I really enjoyed it.
But as a horror film, it was great. So that's a Rotten Tomatoes 85/76. Did you guys know
But does it have a chainsaw hand?
it did not have a chainsaw hand in it?
I
No.
don't remember if it had any chainsaw action, but it had a lot of good moments. There was death by elevator, which is always a hit for me, but not in the way you'd typically expect.
So, Evan, you're in New York, but too bad you weren't there in 2003 because Evil Dead was made into a musical that played in 2003, so you could have caught that. I would love to see this musical.
in the year you were born, you could have gone and seen a
The
musical.
year, yeah, just fresh out of the womb. That's the first thing I'm doing, going to see the Evil Dead, the
Hey,
musical.
I went to see The Matrix fresh out of the womb.
That's true. True story.
It's my first movie.
Do you think that had an
It
impact?
was The Matrix 2, to be accurate.
Yeah. So it had an impact in that I'm a big fan of sequels.
Okay, finally in this category, Matthew, you mentioned it, Ash versus Evil Dead, the TV series. I haven't watched enough of this. 3 seasons, it went 3 years, and it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. So every critic that watches it says they like it.
It's fun.
Amazing. I'm going to have to check that out. So would you guys like to see more along this theme or from these characters?
I think I need to see Ash versus the Evil Dead at the very least.
It's great.
I'd like to see the rest of the movies just so I can understand my father better. But other than that, I don't feel the need.
I think we'll watch Army of Darkness tonight. It's fun. It's super fun. Okay, that was a long one, but I'm not surprised because we did 2 movies wrapped up in one. But we had to, right? Like, I don't know how you could do these separately. So I'm glad we did it that way. Fun episode, fun movies. Did you guys have a good time on this one?
Yeah,
I did.
that was a lot of fun.
Evan, nice to have you here. Nice to have your expertise on this episode. Nicole,
Are you
I'm
planning
happy to be
ask
here.
your
Thank you so
question?
much for letting me join.
what's my question? Is it Too Old or Pure Gold?
Yeah.
Is this movie too old or pure gold? Are these movies
The
too
name of
old
the
or pure
thing.
gold?
They're pure
Special
gold.
guest, what do you think?
I'm going to split down the middle. I think that the first one is the perfect example of a campy 80s horror film. I think that the second one could have been better,
Good.
I agree with you. I think the first one's pure gold, the second one's too old.
Okay.
which is ironic because it is
The
newer.
Z's have spoken. I don't even have to say it. I love both these movies. So for me, they're as I said in the last one, raging gold, pure gold. I love them. Thanks to you guys for doing this one. Evan, nice to have you on your first episode. Love to have you back at some point.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Good.
It's
And
nice to see you again.
everybody,
Nice to see you all.